What's happening, everybody? I'm Steve, and welcome back to Junkdrummer TV, where I give my initial reactions, my hot takes, and my analysis on the drummers of today and yesterday, maybe tomorrow if I stick around that long. I'm a professional drum teacher and a gigging musician, and I have been for the last 20 plus years. Before I start, I'd like to take care of a little business. Thank you to my newest patron on my Patreon. Thank you, Daniel Enrique Salvador Perez. Today's episode, we're going to the comments section, and this is going to be a classic reaction video because I've never heard one note from this band. Actually, the only thing I've ever heard about this band is Anthony Fantano talks about them all the time. That's right, we're going to be listening to King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizards. Or Lizard Wizard? Yes, one wizard. That's got to be one of the greatest name that's happened on this channel so far. And we're going to be watching their two drummers, Michael Cavanaugh and Eric Moore. Apparently these two cats carry on a kind of a rich tradition of a two drummer setup. The most famous is the Allman Brothers, who I'm a huge fan of. Actually, I have a signed drum head of all three of them back when Mark Quinones was with them. And Grateful Dead. Charlie Daniels, I think, had two drummers. Actually, R.I.P. Charlie Daniels. He died today. I was a huge fan of that record, Saddle Tramp. And, you know, it's Charlie Daniels. He's awesome. Tedeschi Trucks Band has two drummers. It's a unique setup. I've done it a few times, and it can be quite enjoyable. Usually the setup is one guy is the kind of the main beat maker, and the other person tends to be kind of the collar and the flavor. But again, I don't know how these cats are going to do it, so there's not much more for the preamble because again, I've never heard them at all. I picked this clip because it's from the Conan show, and I picked that clip just so I could say I love Conan O'Brien. You've heard me on the channel before bury Jimmy Fallon because Jimmy Fallon is just obnoxiously terrible, but Conan O'Brien, mwah, that's the late night show host for me. So that's why I picked this. Once again, if you all enjoy this, please give me a like, comment, and share. Give me a double tap on the subscription and the notification bell. Please check out my merch table, and please check out my Patreon. And let's check out Michael Cavanaugh and Eric Moore of King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. And they're going to play The Lord of Lightning.
Please welcome all the way from Melbourne,
Conan.
Australia, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
The best. Letterman was the best. Conan was second best.
Lord of lightning shifts his gaze, points his strong finger our way. Electricity escapes, leaves destruction in our wake.
Okay, so, excuse me, it seems that these drummers are skewing the traditional two-drummer setup. It seems like they're playing the exact same part. Right off the bat, it sounds garage heavy, like garage revival, like kind of psychedelic, like kind of feeling like Uriah Heep. Kind of has that like Dungeons and Dragons lyric content to me. And this thing they're doing right here is a classic thing that garage and psychedelic bands do. They change the tempo all over the place. And for two drummers to change the tempo like that means that these cats have played together a lot. That is a whack-ass guitar. Yeah, man, these cats have listened to Nuggets a lot. If you don't know what Nuggets is, go check it out. So, okay, so I guess the idea behind two drummers in this band is just to have just a lot more power, because they seem to be playing almost the same exact notes. And when they did that little, I think it was like a sextuplet fill right there, you know, if you've been in a marching band, that's pretty easy because you're used to playing in unison with someone else. That's an interesting way to do it. I guess the idea behind it is to just get more power and just have a big, just solid, you know, 2 bass drum sound that's playing at the same time. Yeah. Yeah, they're playing in unison. I think even the drum sets are exactly the same. That's an interesting way to go about it. I would like to hear this track with just one drum set. Yeah, to do that right there, that's sort of tricky. Gotta have really good time together. Man, these like blues psych bands, they play a billion shows. These guys probably play 1,000 shows together. I know through Fantano that they're really prolific. Yeah, I guess it works out with the 2 drummers kind of looking at each other like that so they can play in unison more. It's interesting. At the end of this video, we'll talk more about how double drummers usually traditionally work together. This is interesting. Yeah, man, these guys. Who was the guy who curated Nuggets? It's like the guitar player for Patti Smith, maybe? I'll probably get it down. This is interesting music to me, especially when you think about what is popular, even in rock, even like in the rock band situation. This is just real raw, real edgy. Younger fans would kind of think that it has like a White Stripes feel, and that's just because of that garage blues thing. But they're far more acid-drenched, psychedelic. Like the way the vocal line is being played with the guitar behind it, that's just very like 70s. It gives this like epic feel to the vocal line. And again, the drummers are playing near unison, and it's I can't really judge what that does. I would like to hear the band, of course you probably never would, hear what the band sounds like with just one drummer playing that part. And then I guess the idea is to just get stacked up drum power. Because like the few times that I've played with another drummer, the thing that I do is try not to play what they're doing. Yeah, that screeched out harmonicas. These cats are wearing some really interesting, not super popular in the mainstream influences on their sleeves. Yeah, like if you're having to play unison like that, it would really help being able to see the other cat that you're playing with. Yeah, man, I like this style of music. Okay. Well, okay, they're right there. They finally did kind of play something different. One guy was playing 16th notes on the hi-hat, and the other player was playing 8th notes.
Hey,
Conan!
that's fantastic.
Bring out the
How
pimp
about
bot.
that? King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
Yeah, part of this was just me putting Conan over. That was cool. Thank you, commenters, for the suggestion. That's been suggested a lot, especially over the last couple months. The 2 drummer thing, that's the first time I've ever seen it done like that. I've seen, God, like 10 Allman Brothers shows, so I'm very aware of how they do it. And I always think of, like, if you're going to do a 2 drummer setup, that would be who you would kind of filter through what you were going to do. Because in that band, you know, Butch Trucks was the kind of the main, you know, laying down the main groove, and then JMO just all these wonderful little things that JMO would play in the cracks and creases of what Butch would leave open. And then, of course, towards the end, well, from like 7 turns and later on, Mark Quinones came on and had Latin percussion. And man, I saw that. I'm gonna have to do an All My Brothers episode, but I saw that at PASIC in Nashville, I think in '96. They did a clinic, and man, when those 3 drummers played together, it was one of the most powerful things that I'd ever witnessed. I was like second row, man. I'd waited all day in line to get in and get like a great seat at this clinic that they did. These cats, Michael Cavanaugh and Eric Moore, are taking a different approach, and we like eschewing tradition and different approaches around here. They were playing in near perfect unison, and I would gather that on stage, getting to feel that probably feels really powerful. Like all the notes are doubled. Guitar players get to double in recording all the time, and vocalists double their vocals in recording. No one ever doubles the drums. That makes me kind of want to do it now. Just watch my bands be like, really? You're going to fucking play 2 drum tracks, asshole? That's an interesting way. Their playing reminded me of Patrick Carney. It reminded me a lot of like 13th Floor Elevators is the most that band kind of reminded me of. And even their drum sound, you could tell that their snare drums, they were trying to kind of go for like that kind of papery 70s snare drum sound. That drum sound didn't have like a lot of modernity in it. Everything about that band is retro, and that's cool, but it's kind of retro in a new way. I would like to listen. Well, I will. It's one of the reasons I started this channel, is to discover new bands and have anonymous people suggest bands to me, because I have a circle of friends and we like what we like. Yeah, again, they're great drummers, just meat and potatoes. But one of the things they did that was the most impressive was those extreme tempo shifts. And you can only do that when your band has played a billion hours together, and you can feel those speed ups and slow downs, because it's real easy to, okay, we're going to do a speed up here, and maybe 4 people speed up the right tempo and 1 doesn't. It's real obvious. And they nailed all those tempo changes perfectly. That's really hard. That's an interesting way to go about it. I think that if you were to listen to it on record, you probably wouldn't notice it was 2 drummers. I think it'd be something more that you would really get to witness the effect live. So there you go, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. I can't not smile and say that. Michael Cavanaugh and Eric Moore. I think the thing that we could get out of this one is, if you're going into something that has a traditional format, you don't always have to maintain that same tradition, and these cats definitely aren't. Because, like Kreutzmann and Mickey Hart, they never really played a lot of the same stuff together. I'm not a big Dead fan, but I'm aware. That's what I think you could get out of this. Don't be afraid to eschew tradition just because someone else did it a certain way. And when you do things like that, you will come up with new ways of doing things. And without that, man, innovation stops. So, hope everyone enjoyed all that. If you did, again, please like, comment, share, subscribe, notification bell, and keep practicing until it's easy.